Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'll be ranking my list of episodes for ScoobyDoo Season 1. I almost forgot to do this as I was planning to review Nowhere to Hide, which is the first episode, of course, of Season 2. But I remembered, luckily, to do this before, which is good because I nearly forgot, and that would have been pretty bad. But yeah, I've got a pretty good list, I reckon. Yeah, that we'll get straight into it. Of course, I'll start with my least favourite. Be going down to my favourite. I think most people would know that I do that now. Just my opinion as well. Comment down yours below if you want to. So yeah, in 17th place is Decoy for a dognaper. Now I feel like most people would probably have this episode in their least favourite. Not everyone though. And yeah, it's really just the only episode that I found that was just average. I mean, not a lot great happened. And one of the more boring episodes I feel like out there. Especially Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? But it had a few good elements. Wasn't overly spooky, but at times it could have been more spooky. That's for sure. The witch doctor was pretty cool, but we didn't see too much of him. Didn't really have too much to do. The characters were pretty cool, but the dogs as well. I mean, I thought it was a decent idea, but yeah, just not executed brilliantly. In 16th place, I have Never Ape and Ape Man. This one just didn't do it for me. I mean, the Ape Man was kind of cool. The setting was pretty cool. But I didn't really like how there was just like minimal characters and I don't know. I just felt like this episode was a little different. It was good, but it wasn't great. And a few of the clues as well were a bit iffy. A bit silly as well, really. I mean, like, you got, for example, you got the sandwich that was eaten by the ape man. I thought that was funny at times, but a little bit silly as well. How the ape man would have been eating it and just left it there. I mean, just a little bit silly, really. Now, in 15th place, pretty harsh, I want to say, for this episode, because I thought it was pretty enjoyable, but somehow it's landed in 15th place, and that is Mind Your Own Business. Yeah, again, not too much I hated about this episode. I didn't love everything about it. I thought the miner wasn't brilliant, but he was still pretty good. The atmosphere was very good. The town was pretty spooky, which is good. The characters that the gang met were pretty spooky. The mystery was overly complex, but then again, I don't like the oil plots. So again, that didn't really help with this episode's ranking. But yeah, not a bad episode. Not the best, that's for sure. Just right bang in the middle, really, for me. Another one that's also in the middle, I mean, of course, it was in 14th place, What a Night for a Night. Now, this is going to be very, very harsh. I'm sure lots of people would put it a lot higher. I still rank it quite highly, and I think it's a pretty great episode. Just unfortunately, there's 13 episodes that I think are better than it. And that's probably because they didn't really know what the show is going to be like. You know, you just write a few episodes, get them out, and see how people react to them, and then you might be able to get a final series going. They ended up getting 2 to 3 seasons of Scooby-Doo Are You, and heaps of other Scooby-Doo series have followed, and well, it's been like 54 years now since this episode aired, but unfortunately, it's just in 14th spot. Everything I liked about it was good. I just feel like it could have been a little bit better if it was written better. Now, in 13th place, another harsh ranking. I know lots of people love this episode as well, and I do too. It's just luck of it, really. I mean, it's fallen in 13th somehow, and that's a gaggle of Galloping Ghosts. The main thing I felt like with this episode is, I guess the best thing was it was very, very spooky. and everyone loves spooky Scooby-Doo episode. But the only thing I just didn't really enjoy, there was too many villains running around. They really just needed to focus on one or two, and the gypsy as well. The gypsy and two villains. I mean, three it's just a little bit too much, but I still thought they did a pretty good job. Seeming there's three characters, and they got like 2 to 3 appearances all in the episode. So I thought they did a pretty good job. It was well written, that's for sure. I thought this one probably one of the most well written ones. I don't know, there's just something about it just doesn't quite come so high in my ranking. 12th is a bit of a surprise, actually. That's Snow Ghost. When reviewing it, I wasn't overly impressed with the episode, but now looking back at it, it was a pretty good episode. Snow Ghost was pretty great. The atmosphere of the episode certainly was a lot more spookier than some of the other ones below it. So that definitely helped. Needed characters, more characters. Had 2 to 3, apart from the gang, of course. And yeah, just a few things that I found a little bit silly as well, like in the 8-man episode, like how the Snow Ghost could fly using invisible skis, clear skis. I don't know, it just wasn't brilliant. Now in 11th, this is going to upset heaps of fans. Hassle in the Castle. My ranking is just so completely random to everyone else's, but that's alright, it's just my opinion. No, again, I love this episode. I felt like I've overdone it again. Like, this episode is, well, in my opinion, it should be a top 5 episode. Somehow it's not even made the top 10. I don't know how. The Phantom wasn't amazing, but he's still very, very memorable. Don't get me wrong. The spooky castle was brilliant. The atmosphere of the episode was fantastic. Lots of people enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, just not as much as other fans, apparently. 10th as well. This one's going to upset a lot of people as well. A Clue for Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I'm not really too sure with this one. I really, really like it. Obviously, but it's just, it goes up and down, I guess. Looking at it, I guess I feel like it's been down quite a bit at times, and it's been high up there at times. I don't know, it just really depends. I feel like if I watch this episode less and then come back to it, I feel like I'd enjoy it more. I watched it a lot as a kid, and it started to bore me, because when you watch the same episode once every week, it can get pretty boring. But yeah, I've watched like the Hassle in the Castle one as well. Like, if you don't watch it for 2 years like me and then come back to it, you get a surprise on how good it really is. And in 9th spot, again, another great episode, just not. It's very, very painful to put these episodes so low on a list like this, which is Foul Play in Funland. Obviously, they had the first ever real monster, Charlie the Haunted Robot. He was very, very memorable and made the episode just a whole lot more fun, really. I guess that was my only problem. More spookiness. I feel like we need a little bit more spookiness with this one, and then it'd probably be maybe not my favourite, but definitely up there. And yeah, the atmosphere was brilliant. The characters that we introduced were pretty good as well. Yeah, just not too much that I can really complain about it. 8th is What the Heck's Going On. This one surprised me. I didn't think I'd put this one this high. Absolutely not. But I guess I've just put it this high due to spookiness and the atmosphere, the ghost, and some really, really spooky scenes that freaked me out as a kid. Yeah, I guess they had a few things that definitely weren't as good as the episodes I put below it. Like, for example, I think the mystery was way better, and A Clue for Scooby-Doo and Foul Play and Funland, even the Snow Ghost, than this one. But just the spookiness was just like a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic. You got Uncle Stuart turning into a skeleton, turning into an old man, then a skeleton. I thought that was really, really spooky how they revealed that as well. It was fantastic. The ghost turning him into an old man was really, really spooky. Like the moaning and the ghostly voices during the night were very, very scary. And seeing Uncle Stuart, being hypnotised pretty much and just walking through the graveyard like a zombie was just really, really freaky. And this is stuff that freaked me out as a kid. And I guess that's why I put it up this high. Could change though, like if you come to me like in a few weeks even, my ranking could be different and this one could be lower. But yeah. In 7th spot is Go Away Ghost Ship. I reviewed this one quite a while ago, which means I haven't watched the episode in quite a while. But yeah, very, very spooky episode. I used to watch this one again, like A Clue for Scooby-Doo, a lot as a kid, once a week, really. And I just got so sick of this one, and I just completely forgot about it, just completely blanked it out of my head. Then, even more than 2 years, maybe even 3 years after, I've gone back to it and said, well, what have I been doing? Like, this is just a fantastic episode, and it deserves to be watched nearly every single week. Maybe not every single week, but it's just a fantastic episode, and you can never really get bored of it unless you watch it once a week. Anyways, I'm jabbling really here. Just a fantastic episode. You can't really fault this one, in my opinion. The first 10 out of 10 one so far on this list. 6th is Bedlam in the Big Top. Now, this one surprised me. Obviously, this one's very, very spooky. Got a great atmosphere. Obviously, needed more characters. I've touched that a lot with a few of these episodes, but this one in particular just needed more characters. But yeah, I guess I just really liked the whole plot and the mystery of this one, which is probably why I have this one so high. Can't really explain it. I've tried to explain it best as I can there. In 5th spot, this one's really surprised me. ScoobyDoo and Mummy 2. I don't think I even gave it a 10 out of 10 when reviewing this. Maybe I did, but it was a mistake. I didn't mean to say 10 out of 10, but it's just looking back at it, it's got some great spookiness, some great atmosphere. I really enjoyed the characters in this one. Like, the characters do make a big difference, and the mystery was very, very entertaining. One of the more entertaining ones, that's for sure. And some good humour mixed with the spooky atmosphere too. So, a good balance of both, and yeah, just a fantastic episode. 4th place is Which is Which. I reviewed this one recently, and yeah, this one, with Scooby-Doo and Mummy 2, just has a great mix of comedy and spookiness. The spookiness in this one was outstanding, and the comedy as well was right up there as well. So yeah, it just made the episode just so enjoyable. And like I was explaining to someone, I can't quite remember who exactly, but both the zombie and the witch, they need each other to support each other. I love how they included both of them, and they just made such a great mix, and just made the episode just a whole lot more enjoyable having both there. Now that could have been like a Gaggle, Galloping Ghosts. I feel like this one's like a Which is sort of like, in a way, kind of like a rewrite in a way of that one, just better. And I feel like a Gaggle, Galloping Ghosts could have been up here with Which is Which. Really could have. 3rd is the Backstage Rage. I really, really wanted to put this one as my favourite, but it's my 3rd favourite. I guess the reason why was the counterfeiting. Obviously the first ever episode that had counterfeiting, and it's one of my favourite plots. And this one was just so dark. I don't know if it was the most spookiest episode. I reckon this one and the next one I'm about to mention is probably tied as the most spookiness. But this one had the best atmosphere, that's for sure, because the way everything just transferred through the episode was just fantastic. Really, really well written. And I haven't mentioned this so far, but I feel like the structure as well of this episode was amazing. Now, I haven't said that with any other episode so far, because I feel like they didn't quite get the structure right for most of these episodes, but this one they certainly got right, that's for sure. And if I could, I probably could give it more than a 10 out of 10. It's just such a great episode. Somehow not my favourite, don't know how. Second is A Night of Fright is No Delight. I just reviewed this one yesterday. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. Fantastic episode. Again, like the Backstage Rage, probably tied with best spookiness. Just so spooky. And again, well written, well structured. The writers did a very, very good job with this one. Again, characters. You need great characters, don't you? In ScoobyDoo and Mummy to make a great episode, and I feel like the best episodes have great characters in them. Definitely the most memorable, probably, of the show in these in this episode. And yeah, the plot was again very, very well written, very, very good. The mystery was very, very entertaining and very, very dark too. But not my favourite episode. My favourite sort of surprised me, to be honest. Spooky Spacekook. Again, I just reviewed this one recently as well. Yeah, I didn't think this one would be my favourite. I thought the two below it would be above it, but it's just not for some reason. The spookiness was great in this episode. I just love the Spacekook. Just such a great villain. So memorable. Again, characters. You need some great characters, don't you? But I feel like the characters didn't really matter in this one because it was aliens and the spaceship UFO. It's better to have it like isolated in like a blank area. For example, there's a very, very similar episode in ScoobyDoo and Guess Who called I don't remember what it exactly was called, starring Terry Bradshaw. That one reminded me of this one, and that's why that one is like one of my favourite episodes from ScoobyDoo and Guess Who. And yeah, just UFOs. There's something about it in like a spooky atmosphered, deserted location. I just really, really liked it. So yeah, just a fantastic episode, really. And yeah, my number one. Hope you guys enjoyed the review and my ranking. Stay tuned for next week where I'll start my reviews of season 2. And yeah, the first episode is Nowhere to Hide, so yeah, look out for that next week.